So what even is a bias? A preference that clouds your judgment, a prejudice that blinds you, something that limits your objectivity in any situation, that perverts your very understanding of the truth of reality. Hey, welcome, and welcome. You know who I am, it's me, Nefliwi. Your one and only all-time favorite Game Awards show host with the red-hot charisma of a half-eaten jar of applesauce and the ice-cold passion of a Domino's employee who just wants to go home for the night. Now, lots of people like to do lame things like honor and celebrate the people behind making games and the games themselves, but no, that's not what this show is about. See, within the gaming industry, there is a huge community of slept-on, underrated people who do the real work around here. No, not the people who pour their hearts and their souls into actually making games, but the schmuckers like me who just talk about them. So tonight's award, chosen by me, will be for the best Game Awards show of the year. And let me say, there is a stacked running. I just don't know who I'm gonna decide for this. It's that time of year, you know, the time to look back at everything that happened to you this year and think to yourself, oh, God, there's gotta be something good here. And if I've said it once, I've probably said it a dozen times. I think the worse things are in the world, the better art tends to be, and for obvious reasons. And in what's gotta be one of the worst years in the history of the United States of America, I think that statement proved itself more than ever. But in that same breath, everything still remains blurred by bias. When you're trying to decide what the best game that released in a year is, it's genuinely hard to overcome your own personal history and experience and choose what's on paper, objectively, the best one. I mean, hell, just look at the Game Awards. Which is why, in this very moment, I am going to not do that. Listen, I think objectivity, the very concept of it, is overrated, honestly. I just want to go with my gut and go through the past 20 years, heading back to the very accursed year I was unleashed upon this futile world, and just pick my favorite game from each, the one that meant most to me, the one that I hold the most dear, because why not? Everyone has biases, and I'm clearly no exception. I mean, if you want to know everything there is to know about me, I'm making a game myself, and it's going... well, so obviously, because of that, because of the games I was raised playing too, I have a very specific type of game I'm biased to, that I generally just tend to prefer, and I've come to accept that, but I don't think it makes me the most serious person of all time. And like I said, I'm really just trying to focus on what my favorite game from each year is, not necessarily what I think is the best one, because that's totally how a real, honest Game Awards show should be run, just based solely on one guy's opinion.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
Out of all the years to every year, 2005 was one of the yearest years of all years. But in all seriousness, tons of great stuff here. Resident Evil 4, COD 2, Shadow of the Colossus, Mario Kart DS, DMC 3, Battlefield 2, Sly 3, Kingdom Hearts 2, Shadow the Hedgehog, GTA Liberty City Stories, King Kong, Sonic Rush, and I'm really just scratching the surface here. Hell, I was born this year too. I mean, not great, but better than Ninja Bread Man if I do say so myself. I'd give myself a good 5 out of 8 nugget rating score. But what's the game of the year here, though? I mean, I think it's pretty clearly Resident Evil 4, right? Like, I don't think anything else really stacks up to that. It has anywhere close to the same legacy as that game does. It's not really much of a choice to me, not anything I even have to go too deep into, spend that much time on. 2006 really kicked ass in terms of years too. Like, man, Elder Scrolls 4, Hitman, New Super Mario Bros., Zelda Twilight Princess. Jesus Christ, they got Barnyard up in this bitch. Damn, this is a packed year. The first game I really want to talk about in depth though, that's gotta be Wii Sports. See, the Wii was the hot, cool thing of 2006, and with that came Wii Sports. And listen, I know it may be trite, but when you're a homeschool kid and you have no connection with the outside world at all with any other human beings, games are kind of everything. I mean, aside from the religion that's forced on you from day one, they're pretty much all you got. And in a family that was always a little off to start, that progressively crumbled more and more over time, games were the great equalizer. The one thing we had that brought us together to an extent, and Wii Sports was a huge part of that. No, it was the main part of that, I'd argue, alongside Mario Kart Wii and New Super Wii. I mean, everyone just got Wii Sports because it just appealed to everyone, clicked for everyone, because of its pure, simple complexity, if that makes any sense. Like, this wasn't something
you need 20 years of gaming whizzle-waz to get. You just move the thingy around like you're golfing or bowling or boxing or baseballing or whatever, and it just works. It's not complicated at all. But at the same time, each of these 5 sports and all of their respective minigames in tandem are so fleshed out and just feel right. Overall, if I could pick one piece of art from any medium from 2006 to choose as like a snapshot, a time capsule of that whole year, that'd be Wii Sports. But that doesn't quite make it the best game of that year now, does it? No, I ultimately think Wii Sports is a little too simplistic for that.
See, I had more to say about Wii Sports than Resident Evil 4, and that's how you know I'm a real gamer.
New Super Mario Bros. Is a really special game for me. I mean, it was a huge part of my childhood and brought back 2D Mario, and that was cool. But let's be real, as for the game that actually deserves to win this year, more than anything else, it's Twilight Princess. This game has always had a really interesting history to me for several reasons. For one thing, Twilight Princess had a lot to live up to. Not only was it the big, gritty, Lord of the Ringsy 3D Zelda game fans have been waiting for anxiously for years, but it also served as both a grand opening for the Wii and as a swan song for the GameCube, which certainly isn't the only time this has happened for Zelda, which is a really sweet pattern for the series to have. This is a great game. I mean, it's Zelda, but grittier, and Link can turn into a wolf. Like, what more could you possibly want out of life? I don't really have any big personal history with this game or anything. Growing up, Zelda was kind of looked down upon in my household, not for weird religious reasons like you'd think. No, my dad just thought Zelda was kind of lame, so I didn't even fully play through my first Zelda game until a few years ago. Well, I've always had a huge interest in this franchise from watching trailers for it and whatnot, and I think Twilight Princess had some role in that. I had this How to Draw Nintendo Heroes and Villains book as a kid that confuses Bowser for a fucking coffee maker, and also included tutorials for how to draw the Twilight Princess interpretation of these characters, and that's super neat. Okay, and listen, obviously I'm giving it to Twilight Princess, but I was so close fucking close to giving Game of the Year to Marble Blast Ultra. That's how bad my bias is.
Space. The last remnants of the unexplored.
Alright, this is a hard one, for lots of reasons. Now, I could talk about real games for real meaty masculine men like Bioshock, Portal, Halo 3, Mass Effect, TF2, God of War 2, COD 4, Half-Life 2, the B-movie game, Uncharted Drake's Fortune, Metroid Prime 3, or Assassin's Creed, but fuck it. I want to talk about the funny plumber guy in LEGO Star Wars. Okay, LEGO Star Wars doesn't actually deserve to be in the running, obviously. I've just always had a huge soft spot for it since it got me into Star Wars and really affected my life as a result. I mean, as is, it's an incredible adaptation and a great family game, but comparing it to the titles I listed earlier, I mean, it is really hard to live up to the B-movie game, come on. Super Mario Galaxy isn't just one of the best games of all time, it's one of the best artistic experiences you can have in the modern day. Now, is that saying a lot? Yeah, too much. But, like, I think it deserves it. What Mario 64 was to the 5th generation of gaming and Breath of the Wild was to the 8th, Galaxy was to the 7th. I don't really know what I can say about it that hasn't been said before. This game took Mario and launched him into a whole new environment entirely, space, which is so funny to me. Mario's the funny Italian plumber man, going on an epic odyssey throughout the final frontier. It's just such a weird mismatch that just really works for some reason that makes no sense to me. And this game inserts him into this bittersweet, surreal, beautifully dark place, and that's one of the things that makes Mario Galaxy so unabashedly special, even all these years later. Its tone, from soaring through the starry skies to learning Rosalina's backstory to staring into the vast abyss of the broad expanses of outer space, this game carries with it a feeling of somberness, the knowledge of being microbial in an infinite universe. And then there's the gameplay, which is a massive part of what makes this game click. Sure, it's a bit slower and purposely stiffer than the past and future 3D Mario games, but it has to be that way, due to the crazy gravity mechanics at play here, which are executed masterfully. And that's not even taking into account Galaxy's soundtrack, which is undoubtedly one of the best in gaming's history. Listen, Mario Galaxy is an 8 out of 8 nugget experience, and I think it's something that everybody should get to play for themselves. But that doesn't mean I'm not a dumbass. I can never be truly objective when it comes to Super Paper Mario, which after playing it for about 15 years, I've come to terms with the fact that, yeah, I think this is my favorite. Not my favorite Mario RPG, or Mario game. I mean game, as a whole. Because I'm a moron. And I can say that because Deltarune's not done yet, and I'm still trying to trick myself into thinking I'm not completely brain dead. Sorta. I mean, I don't really believe in having just one favorite game, or movie, or song, or food, or book, or anything. And there are about 3 or 4 games I feel really comfortable with calling my favorite, but if I had to pick just one, I think it's this, surprisingly. And no, it's not the objective best game ever or anything, not even close, but it combines everything I love about gaming, about art, everything I want in a video game into one package. It's a platformer, but it's an RPG. It has an incredibly distinct identity through its music and its tone, its visuals. It's got great characters and locations and packs so many hidden secrets and lore nubbins you kinda have to search for and think about for a while to fully grasp, and maybe most importantly, it's got one hell of a story and so many awesome gameplay concepts sprinkled throughout it all. Like, even people who despise this game or just think it's whatever will almost always agree that this is the best story ever told in a Mario game. And to be fair, there are some things valid to nitpick here, like the partner companions here aren't really interesting characters as much as they are just objects to use. Most of the character focus here goes to the main pro-tags and antags. And while I think that makes a lot of sense, it is admittedly a slight letdown. But I think all the great characters and the astounding story here really do more than make up for that. I mean, the story here is wild, man. I mean, at the surface, it doesn't look to be that special. Like, you got 8 different worlds to travel through, like a standard Mario platformer. And you gotta collect a bunch of magic thingies to stop an evil bad guy from destroying the world and stuff, like a standard Mario RPG. But the way this game does all of it is so uniquely fine-tuned to this specific experience. The game decides, yeah, let's make this whole thing a commentary on, like, love and stuff, which is interesting. Each of the 8 chapters kind of contain a depiction of, like, different manifestations of love itself and explore them over the course of the chapter, and that's sort of neat. And the game is totally comfortable getting way darker at times. Like, Peach gets forced into a sham marriage with Bowser at one point. Luigi gets brainwashed into becoming this sick, yummy-licious demon, I think. I don't know, that's just a theory. And you have to essentially kill an annoying yet innocent child to progress and get the magic thingy. The world you're in gets destroyed and wiped from existence. Oh yeah, Mario and the gang are killed and literally go to hell or something, and that's cool. And then there are parts of it I just struggle to put into words. It's a somewhat simple story, but everything is interconnected so well and expanded upon greatly, especially all that hidden lore about this world's secret past. It's great. There are some legitimately wacky and blindsiding twists and turns here too that you don't even think to see coming. I don't know, I just love this game. I love its story, I love its world, I love its gameplay styles and the way you go about exploring all its little subtleties. It's astonishing, but it's also completely a me thing, and I think this game fits all my tastes of what I love in and about gaming, in large part because it formed a lot of those tastes for me. This game, the Mario and Luigi RPGs, the Galaxy titles, they all played a major role in forming me into the person I am now, and this game specifically, I think contributed more to my taste in gaming and art as a whole than almost anything else, which says way more about me than I'd like for it to. Yeah, fuck it. It's my game of the year for 2007. I'm justifying that because Mario Galaxy 2 exists. I know it's stupid, but I'm sticking to the experiment. I'm going in completely controlled by my bias. GTA 4, like Mario Kart Wii and Lego Batman, yes, I am an adult, are really dear to me, but like, come on, it's GTA 4. Like, what else can I say? Who cares?
Please get everything off of the internet now, 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 now!
Ooh, finally, I can pick something I really care about that I also think deserves to win Game of the Year. Nice.
And somehow they let me vote. The one vote critically acclaimed, universally loved Bibleman villain Luxor Spawndroth got last year. Yeah, that was me.
The only game that comes close here for me is Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story, one of my most played games ever, probably. I love its split dynamic between Mario and Luigi and Bowser. I love the concept of exploring Bowser's body. It's something I think about just way too much. And the music is by Yoko Shimomura. I mean, enough said. But Arkham Asylum also came out this year, and I gotta pick that. I know City is the most beloved of the Arkham series, but honestly, I always kind of preferred Asylum. I love its tone and feel and narrative direction of just being trapped inside this horrifying asylum the inmates have taken over, and it nails every aspect of the Batman lore and mythos there is. It's purely fantastic.
Here, at the edge of the universe, I look into the abyss and...
2010? Shit, man. Starting off, indie games changed my life several times and still continue to do so, even now. I mean, without these, I never would have begun working on my own games or found my own purpose, and a big part of why indie games are a successful endeavor now at all is the Xbox Live Arcade service. And I don't think this thing gets enough credit these days for the effect it had on the general game industry, but it changed so much by allowing these smaller developers to publish their work for a much much larger audience to see. One of those games that I'd say helped kickstart the indie revolution, so to speak, was Limbo. Limbo might be over 15 years old, but if it released in the modern 2025 indie game landscape, not a single person would bat an eye. With its dark, eerie feel, its uncomfortable monochrome style, and its fluid platforming gameplay, this feels right at home with the indies of today. And I think the good reason for that is because this game had a huge influence on the storytelling and presentation of modern indies. Aside from its lasting impact, Limbo is just a fascinating experience. I mean, obviously a lot of that is due to its style, like the whole mysterious and kind of creepy noir thing it's got going on is great. And the story, while very simple, is also really intriguing, leaving so much of it up to your interpretation. The game's about a boy finding his lost sister, but the way it unfolds, this could be anything. The game could be a depiction of purgatory, or, limbo, being trapped between hell and heaven essentially, or it could represent the repeating cycle of the search for closure after the loss of a loved one. There's so many answers here. Limbo's great, and I highly recommend it. It's something you can almost always get for super cheap on the Switch eShop or whatever. I think I snagged it for around $1, and it was absolutely worth it. I wish I could have paid more for it, not gonna lie. But I gotta give the nod to Super Mario Galaxy 2. I mean, how could I not? It's basically Mario Galaxy again, but with a slightly more lighthearted feel, and I've always preferred this one. I think its level design, its visuals, its music, it's all just a little bit better. I always struggle to think of games from 2011, but looking at a list, whoa. Skyrim, Portal 2, Arkham City, Sonic Generations, Infamous 2, The Old Republic, Skyward Sword, Dead Space 2, Uncharted 3, Battlefield 3, Terraria, Mario 3D Land, Little Big Planet 2, Mario Kart 7, Ocarina of Time 3D, Dark Souls, Modern Warfare 3, LA Noire, so many others. This might actually be one of the most stacked years for gaming ever. Who wins? I don't know. I could give it to Arkham City, and I could give it to Skyrim. I always really liked Sonic Generations a lot, but I never quite loved it as much as everyone else seemed to, so it will never be my game of the year, ever. Yeah, I probably gotta go with, Portal 2 on this one. I mean, it's Portal 2, Hotline Miami. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but the way this game dictates its message, its themes about violence, it's untouched. Without this game, the huge indie hits we've gotten over the past decade plus, I don't think they would have happened. I don't know, man. Go back and play it. It deserves it. 2013, another year loaded with hits. I always deeply love the storytelling Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons implemented through gameplay. I just like to shout that out whenever I get the chance. But if you want a game that's less of a game in the traditional sense and more of an intricate artistic experience, Papers, Please might just be right up your alley. Everything I said about Hotline Miami earlier, which wasn't a lot now that I think about it, applies to this game too. While it, yes, still is a pixelated indie game, it definitely carries with it its own distinct air separate from most of the others. This game right here, ever since it came out, has always been championed as one of the purest examples of video games as a work of art, and rightfully so. You're set in the role of a border inspector in the fictional, communist, authoritarian, dystopian nation of a whole damn bunch of letters squished together in the 1980s, and your job is, well, to inspect. You check the documents of people trying to get into the country and ensure the papers all check out and aren't suspicious or outdated or forged or anything. This sounds really weirdly relevant. Not while having to balance out trying to keep your struggling family alive on low income. Again, sounds extremely relevant. But as time goes on, things get much, much harder. More laws are put in place restricting the entry of more people from dissenting nations. God, the relevance. The financial needs of your family pile up, and you ultimately have to make a lot of tough decisions based on what's best for yourself, what's best for your family, what's best for the people trying to enter through your gate, and what's best for the country and its population as a whole. There are 20 possible endings to achieve here, so your choices mean everything. Go ahead and do yourself a solid. Open up your cellular telephone and go to the App Store and buy this game. It's only like $5 and it's worth every single goddamn penny. And if you can't afford that, the game got a 10-minute official short film adaptation a few years back, and it's phenomenal. This short keeps the same weighty tone and feel of that game, yet translated flawlessly into the medium of film with stellar acting and cinematography. Not to mention its own unique ending and handling of plot points, it's seriously one of the best adaptations of a game I've ever seen. But back to the game, Papers, Please perfectly captures the state of this bleak historical period, and beyond that, provides a beautiful commentary on human nature, on empathy, on sacrifice, on government and history. Even if you're not really into this sort of game and you find it boring, it is still perhaps the pinnacle example of video games working as an art form, and really deserves to be experienced by everyone.
Super Mario 3D World! Meow.
I love Mario 3D World. It's just a great platformer, man. I love it, but I gotta give the dub this year to what else? The Last of Us, one of the best games ever made. And I know, The Last of Us IP gets too many weird, pointless additions it doesn't need. I know, the Game Awards is way too biased towards games like it, but who am I to complain that I spent 500 words yamming about fucking Papers, Please? The reason that happens, by the way, the reason The Last of Us has stuck around, has had the lasting impact it has, because, well, it really is that damn good. I know, shocker, right? 2014 was fine. It was fine. My game of the year was Shovel Knight. When it comes to modern retro-style games, I think Shovel Knight is the shining pinnacle of that genre, because, think about it. It does all the good things. It keeps all the good things older games had that older games did, and makes them even better. But it shreds all the annoying parts nobody likes looking back at. 2015 was a pretty good year. Fallout 4, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Witcher 3, Bloodborne, Life is Strange, Until Dawn, Mario Maker 1, but clearly doesn't hold up as well as the second, but it was my first time really getting to experiment with, quote, game design, so I've got an old softie for it somewhere in my cold dead heart. Arkham Knight is a good game I wish I liked more than I do, but it just loses me in some aspects. Thanks guys, I really needed to be lied to in the road to release about how obvious it was that the Arkham Knight was Jason Todd. That was just super necessary. Okay, can we stop pretending that my 2015 Game of the Year was ever going to be anything else other than Undertale? I mean, I don't really have anything more to say about this game than I already did. It's Undertale. All of it and more has been said over the past decade to the point that, what can I possibly say about it at all? I mean, I could talk about how it's probably the biggest indie success story of all time, how it's such an important and influential title that completely changed the culture, that changed gaming, that changed and saved so many lives. I could talk about how it's one of the most finely crafted and carefully, artisanally designed games ever in terms of its story, its soundtrack, its immersion, its meta-narrative, its characters, its style and tone, its pacing, the way it turns its message and key idea on its head throughout this grand journey. Pretty much everything but its code itself, but unless you're actively code mining the game, that literally could not matter any less. It's one of the few games I feel comfortable saying is an absolutely perfect showcase of the art form of gaming, but with no real flaws hindering it at all. But for so many, and even myself at one point, it's a game that's inherently really hard to separate from the culture around it. I mean, it really seems like you can't talk about Undertale without talking about how it impacted people, or without bringing up its fan base, or how it changed the internet, and vice versa in a way. And you know what? Maybe that's okay. Maybe that's just a part of this game's legacy 10 years later. Maybe that's just what it's become, what it is. I don't know, but none of that truly matters, because judging this game purely at face value, it truly is one of the greatest games of all time, regardless of all that, regardless of what it's done, because all that matters is what it is. There are several games on this list, even indies, especially indies, and I'm more than willing to just admit that, yeah, this is just my bias speaking. This might not be the best game of the year had to offer, but it's my personal favorite, and I can sincerely say that this is not the case for Undertale. I do deeply believe that this game was the best title of 2015 and deserves the label of Game of the Year more than anything else. Hell, I think it should have won a goddamn Nobel Prize.
I guess that's something I can say, because I'm just some guy who played this game and had my life touched by it and wants to pave that forward. I've never done anything, and I've never been anyone, but I've always seen this as my chance to do that. And this game, its follow-up, all the other ones in its genre were really big in pushing me in that direction. And in this space, in the indie game space, I feel like that's something a lot of people can relate to, can find some sort of community in. That shared feeling, that shared passion, that all comes as a result from great experiences like this one.
Again, this game was a total cultural phenomenon, and in a way, has kind of become the gold standard for indie games to be compared to, the game that overshadows all others. And while I've struggled with that, dreaming of ever making something as good as Undertale, I think I've accepted it, and if there is any game that has to be that gold standard, I'm glad it's this one. Well, the world has changed a lot in those 10 years, those long, heavy years, but despite everything, it's still Undertale, and I couldn't be happier because of it.
But I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
All right, 2016 was kind of a shitty year for games. I'll just be honest. There was there was good stuff here and there, but not as much of it. Fuck it. This time I'm gonna go complete bias mode and pick OneShot. OneShot isn't really a game that changed my life or anything. It didn't affect me really all that much. I really like it, you know? It's just really well written. It's got great characters, a great soundtrack, great world building, and a great story. It also has gameplay. Later on, I got to talk about a similar ish indie game I have a really unhealthy relationship with, but this one, super healthy. I love this game. I don't know if you could tell.
'Cause I'm the greatest, ain't no hating, I'm the best.
Holy mother of fuck. How in God's ass did this happen? I am perfectly happy getting a mediocrely mid-year like 2016 every once in a blue moon if it means getting a year like 2017 to follow it up. Jesus Christus, this might be the best year in gaming history. Super Mario Odyssey, Hollow Knight, Horizon Zero Dawn, Cuphead, Resident Evil 7, Metroid Samus Returns, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Night in the Woods, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Prey, Sonic Mania, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions, What Remains of Edith Finch.
I don't know. What?
When the game that is, if there has to be one, the definitively objective greatest video game ever made, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild releases and you can't immediately say, yup, this is far and away the best game of the year, that's how you know it's a damn good year. With that being said, yeah, Breath of the Wild is still my game of the year. I don't think I really have to explain why, especially after the 2-hour gab sesh you and I just had about it just a few weeks back. But oh my god, there's a game that's the perfect example of everything, of immersion and ambience and tone and puzzle design and world design and environmental and visual and audio storytelling. It is this one. It's Breath of the Wild.
Well, Seymour, I made it despite your directions.
Remember everything I just said about 2017? Yeah, we'll carry that over. Oh my god, 2018 might just be as good. And that's insane. It's crazy. Say it with me. Red Dead Redemption 2, God of War, Spider-Man, Smash Ultimate, Celeste, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, A Way Out, Detroit Become Human, Mega Man 11, Far Cry 5, Sea of Thieves. I take it back. This year might actually be better than 2017 was. Smash Ultimate is by far my favorite Smash Brothers game, but it is just another Smash Brothers game at the end of the day. Spider-Man is great, but it never really clicked with me in the exact same way the Arkham games did. Again, I love it, but it's just not my 2018 game of the year. In the end, it comes down to, for me, what else could it be? Either Red Dead Redemption 2 or Celeste. Now, I know I am a little biased towards this kind of game, yeah, but I do think Celeste is worth it. It's on my Mount Rushmore of the greatest games ever made alongside Breath of the Wild, Mario 64, and George Foreman's KO Boxing. Like, what else am I supposed to do? There's no other platformer for me that feels anywhere near as fun to play as this one. Like, maybe Mario World, maybe. The controls are just too god tier, and combine that with the brilliantly designed levels of which practically every screen here feels like its own work of art, with the all-timer soundtrack, with its beautiful visual style, with a simple yet great storytelling both of the plot and of the gameplay. Yeah, my 2018 game of the year is Celeste. Following 2 all-time great years in the medium of gaming, 2019 was kind of just okay. What I think is fine. You still got a fair share of great games released this year, but just not quite as many. Which is fair following 2 incredible years. Now what's the most out-of-hand, out-of-pocket game I could give my Dubsy to this year? Well, this is a little unhinged, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Jedi Fallen Order. I don't know, I just like the style this game takes on. It's fun. Sue me.
Oh, come on. That was an invitation, not a threat.
When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie.
Hey, yo, the pizza here.
In 2020, the Game Awards demonstrated their bias more than ever when they bestowed The Last of Us Part 2 the honor of being Game of the Year. And likewise, I'm going to be more biased than ever in picking mine. A game that, by Game of the Year rules, isn't even eligible given it came out in December. But you know the kind of guy I am, you know damn well what I'm into. Earlier, I got the chance to talk a little bit about an RPG Maker indie game about a deeply layered protagonist and their relationship with a special light bulb, a game I have a pretty healthy relationship with. And now, I get to talk about depression. Now, is this the most engaging video gaming experience out there? No. But I have never, and likely will never, love a game in quite the same way I do Amori, which doesn't just tell my favorite story across the entire medium of gaming, but I think after listening to it too much, I gotta say, it also contains my favorite soundtrack as well. I can't go into all the things I feel about this game. I could honestly talk about it for days, months, but I found Amori at my worst, my most depressed, my most suicidal and useless, and it changed my life. It made it even worse. Nah, I think this game may have actually done the opposite. I think it might have saved my life, and in more ways than one. For one, it reignited the fire, the burning passion I have buried deep within my soul for creating art, for telling stories, for making games, and that's really what matters most here. And yeah, it's a simple RPG Maker game, but through its music and its artwork and its storytelling, the layered nuances and subtext found in every tiny hidden corner of this experience, I've never felt more immersed, more connected to a character, to a world than I have within Amori. This is a game all about dealing with trauma and self-forgiveness, and the way it makes me feel nostalgia and sadness and regret for a life I've never even lived is insane. I'm a white guy from the South. I hate it here, but I'm a tough crier. Over the past 5 years, I've cried I think 3 times, maybe 4. But out of any movie, any game, any work of art, there's only been one that's ever brought me to actual, real tears, and it's this one. And if you played it, you know exactly when and why. Is this my clearest display of bias and how it affects my judgment? Probably, yeah, but I don't care. 2020 Game of the Year for me is Amori. Amori, hell yeah.
This reminds me of the book 1984.
What the hell even came out this year? Metroid Dread was cool. It Takes Two was yet another masterful gambit by Joseph Fares. A real shocker there. You know, I've never been into most masculine manly man things. My testosterone's just way too high for that stuff. It is so high, it actually circles back to being incredulously low. So stuff like sports cars, and beating my wife have never really been my thing. But out of all the Forzas, Horizon 5 is the only one I've ever actually played for more than 10 minutes, and I don't know why, but something about this one in particular really just gripped me.
Super Mario 3D World!
The remaster adds and fixes so many things that I can't even look at the original version in the eyes anymore. And then Bowser's Fury, just immaculate shit, man. Immaculate levels of shit here. But here's the thing. What if I completely just totally lost any amount of credibility I've ever had? So Deltarune Chapter 1 released in 2018. It's my favorite. Chapters 3 and 4 came out this year. We got Chapter 5 next year, and after that, who knows? But Chapter 2 came out in 2021, and because shenanigans, I choose to give Deltarune my Game of the Year for 2021. And by that, I mean all of it. Not just Chapter 2, the whole game. Even the stuff we haven't gotten yet. I choose this year, not 2018 or 2025, because I think Chapter 2 was what really made Deltarune. It laid the groundwork for pretty much the rest of the game and established its episodic nature for goodsies. And I'm even counting the stuff that hasn't come out yet because I know it's going to be great. Like, come on. I've talked about this probably 4 times now, but Deltarune was the game that 13-year-old me found as proof that I really could make games. That's why I do what I do now. So I owe it everything for that. And beyond that, it is just a fantastic experience in every department. The character work, the dramatic artistic premise, the way things are built up and paid off over years and years. It's something I don't think any other game has done to the same level, and since you and I already talked about this game for an hour that one time, or maybe it was that other time, was it 2? It's hard to remember sometimes, but whatever. I won't go too much into it, but I love Deltarune far too much not to give it Game of the Year for one of these years. I've hinted at it before, this is slowly becoming my favorite work of all time, which means probably something bad for my mental health. I don't know. 2022, pretty fine year for games. Elden Ring, Stray, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Tunic, the Live Alive remake, all great, but let's let bias win out once more, shall we? Listen, Manzo, you can have 1,000 masterpieces, but all of them combined won't mean a hill of beans to you compared to that one half-decent 7 out of 10 game that was made explicitly just for you. And for me, yeah, that's Sonic Frontiers. Is a game like Elden Ring or God of War Ragnarok better?
You don't actually need me to finish this sentence, do you?
Sonic Frontiers is a clunky, screwed-up mess of a time, but like I said, it was made literally just for me. Like everything I wanted out of a new Sonic game, all the things I never thought we'd get, they're all here. It's a Sonic game, open world, that slightly takes itself more seriously, with voice acting that doesn't make your eardrums want to commit self-death, that, yeah, despite how much of a mess it is actually really fun to play. Except for the DLC. Good God. This shit is more broke than I am.
So can we break this mold and set in motion something new?
Holy heavenly hell, another standout year. Maybe not on the level of a 2017 or a 2018, but it definitely packs a mighty fine 2025 if I do say so myself. Oh, young, naive 2023 me thinking my game would come out this year. That's adorable. Spider-Man 2, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Baldur's Gate 3, Starfield, Final Fantasy 16, solid stuff no doubt. I don't know if I should count Undertale Yellow or not. Why not? It's got a Wikipedia page. Great game. I'm not generally a fan game guy, but seeing something like this, crafted purely from the love and passion people had for Undertale, is genuinely beautiful. Tears of the Kingdom is something I've went really far in depth about. I don't think it quite lives up to Breath of the Wild. It's still obviously way up there. But I think this time period, 2022, 23, 24, marked this period where lots of big companies started giving fans what they wanted, at least for a brief little window of time. Like, Sonic Frontiers was a great example of that, and so was Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and that's what's gotta be my game of the year for 2023. A masterfully crafted platformer that finally injected the long-missing spirit of originality from the 2D Mario games, now with a whole new voice cast in tow that does a great job carrying on Mario's legacy. That's the kind of game I sort of wish came out like 5 years earlier, but like, hey, it's better late than never, right? I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if I played any games that came out in 2024. This was a particularly odd year for me, the first half of which being spent literally and figuratively trapped, dominated by my depression, just unable to really do anything. The second, I moved out of my parents' house for the first time and spent the rest of that year adjusting to adult life, working 50, 60 hours a week, going to community college another 20, figuring out how the hell buses work, and still trying to fit in time to work on my game, time to sleep on top of that. I just didn't have much spare time or money. Good God, did I not have money. There's a ton of games that did release in 2024 that I really want to go back and play. I just haven't really had the time or the money. Mario and Luigi Brothership first and foremost. It brought the Mario and Luigi RPGs I love from my childhood back, and my bias tells me I want to play that thing more than anything else, even if it's, like, obviously another case of the Sonic Frontiers. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom gave us a Zelda game where you can actually play as Zelda. Black Myth Wukong, Balatro, Star Wars Outlaws, the Silent Hill 2 remake, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, Animal Well, and Astrobot all look really incredible. I just never had the time. Wait. Oh, shit. God damn it. I lied. Twice. Sonic and Shadow Generations came out this year, and I did play that. I mean, it is really good. Maybe not as good as, like, the games I didn't play, but whatever. It's a great game. I think Sonic Generations was always incredible, and Shadow Generations is even better. So, by default, Sonic X Shadow Generations is my game of the year for 2024 in the most honorable way it could be, by being a fucking Nepo baby.
Driving in my car right after a beer.
I played games this year. Between dropping community college and accepting my life was never going to amount to anything, getting quote-unquote promoted at work and ruining my life, and having no life, I actually got more time and more money to waste on frivolous nonsense like this. Mario Kart World is probably my favorite Mario Kart, or at least it's neck and neck with 8 Deluxe. The gameplay is better than ever, and I love the whole structure of this game. The driving between tracks on the open world thing. I think it's really cool development for Mario Kart. Hades 2, Split Fiction, and this thing I don't know how to pronounce look amazing, and I hope to get the chance to try them out really soon. Same goes for Ghost of Yotei and Blueprints? Oh, I get it. Blueprints. Clever. Silksong finally came out after a bejesusingly long amount of time, and it kicked the metaphorical ass of everyone's hugely high expectations for it. The same could be said for Chapters 3 and 4 of Deltarune, but like I said, I'm a stupid moron. I already gave that my vote for 2021, so it doesn't count here. Obviously, all of the games I've already played this year for realsies, I choose Donkey Kong Bonanza. It was never going to be anything else. Most likely even if I played all the games I haven't yet, except for Deltarune. Well, like I said, 2021. Mostly because I want to include DK Bonanza here. As much as I adore this game, sorta kinda not really predecessor in Super Mario Odyssey, I'd actually prefer it. Donkey Kong Bonanza just captures my imagination in a way that game never really did. The addictive allure of smashing all the shit around you and collecting everything you can beats almost anything else. This is a game that's so fun to just screw around to do nothing in, which I think is truly deeply important to have. You and I already went in depth on this whippersnapper of an experience a couple of weeks back, so I'm not gonna yammer your ear off about it again. Our Lord and Savior Luxor Spawndroth knows he gets sick of it, but either way, yeah. My one and only lifelong celebrity crush in Donkey Kong has gotten a lot of games, but I think this is his best by far, and it's the best he's looked too, and that redesign. I need say no more. Donkey Kong Bonanza, Game of the Year. Also unrelated, but God, can I say, I love that title, Donkey Kong Bonanza. It explains itself.
And now, after all this time, it is finally time to reveal the long-awaited, the glorious, the illustrious, the prestigious Game Award Show of the Year award. Can't wait to see what it's gonna be. Just drum roll. It's such an honor. I never thought I was gonna pick myself to win anything. It's everything I've ever dreamed of, and a lot more.